All right, let's talk about some other stuff that's around, including for all of this data retention stuff and the conversation about Facebook, as I mentioned at the start of the show, 20,000 people's driver's licence, passport number, name, address, it's all been hacked. They were club members at a club in the Toronto Workers Club, which is not too far from Newcastle in New South Wales. And as you can see, it's been hacked by somebody accessing third party while the poker machines were doing stuff on their cloud storage testing. So not a good move here at all. I'll start with you again, Senator Leyonhjelm, about the general privacy concerns that people want to talk about things like Facebook, but let's be honest, there's not a lot of financial data that's there. There's not a lot of information where you'd be able to data mine it and use it to go off and open a bank account. If you can hack a local club, though, you've got the gold mine. Yeah,
that's right. You know, one of the privacy principles is, under the Privacy Act, is don't collect personal information if you don't have a good reason, a good need for it. I've often worried about these clubs that demand all this personal information, and then when you go there they scan your driver's licence, you know, just to prove that you're more than 5 k's away from where they are, so that you can come in as a remote visitor or whatever they call it. And I often think, you know, well, what are you going to do with that information? You're collecting a large amount of information, and on your driver's licence, of course, they've got all sorts of information. The potential for identity theft and worse than that, particularly in the case of young women, is huge. I don't like it at all. And my question is to the club: why did you gather that information in the first place? What do you think you're going to do with it? It's not reasonable.
No, absolutely, and completely unnecessary often for this information to be gathered, because, you know, Darren, I know there were sort of the old school rules about, you know, who can access the club, but these were also in the days when you used to, the only way you could become a member of the club was if a member of the RSL would vouch for you to become part of it. But those rules have all changed now. You can get lifetime memberships in some clubs in Queensland, I know it because I'm a member, for $1.
That's true. They just want you to come in the door. I agree with Senator Leyonhjelm. I don't understand why we need to provide our personal information to gain access to a club. The old days of just showing your licence or passport or something else that was proof of age and identity, I think that's probably still enough. So, and you know, I personally still have a problem if I have to hand over my credit card info. I still don't feel 100% safe and secure about that. So that idea of, you know, data gathering and retention, I think frightens quite a lot of people in the community, and we need to always ensure that there are adequate safeguards.
Well, I agree completely.
I think there's another aspect to it too. You can go into a large department store or other large store and to buy a perfectly ordinary good, and they'll want your name and your phone number and your email, and I just say, why? Oh, because we'd like it. Well, sorry, no.
No, and I'll pay in cash, thanks.
Absolutely, and you know, it does bring up that Zuckerberg stuff. I mean, Darren and I were having a chat in the break. If you put stuff on Facebook, you put stuff on social media, it's out there in the public domain. It's like taking an ad in the newspaper. And people are selling that data all the time. Right. It's like me when I go to the supermarket and I give my rewards card. And should I be surprised that they send me an email advertising the prices on special for things that I've bought in the past when I've given them the information? So if you don't want that sort of stuff, don't give it. Don't put it up there.
And also, the truth is about Facebook is that everyone says, oh, Facebook's a social networking company. No, it's not. It's a data retention company.
Absolutely.
It's a giant global, you know, it's a great communication tool for programs like this where we've got 100,000 people who like our page and we can all talk amongst each other. That's great. There's a lot of upside. But if you are nervous about the downside, you know, that's what the company's about. Anyway.